coffee. You might notice it's still dark outside, but by the time I finish my coffee, it'll be just about perfect. This is a special edition. We're going to have a visit with a veterinarian and learn a little bit about animal anatomy and how they compare to humans. And that works out perfectly for our body system unit. Also, I'm going to get outside, see if I can see anything interesting this morning. Why do birds sing? It's mostly the males that sing. And it's also the males that are very colorful. And that's because they want to attract a mate. They sing because they're trying to keep other males away from their territory. So a territory is the area that they want to occupy and have all the resources for themselves. So they'll work pretty hard to keep away other male birds. So sometimes you'll see some aggressive actions between birds. One student told me that they had a robin flying into their window repeatedly. Why would it do that? It could get injured. Well, probably saw its reflection in the glass and thought it was another male encroaching on its territory. Let's see what we can find when we get outside early. Come on.
Here I am above the Mississippi River. I've noticed on my morning walks that right after sunrise, there's a pair of bald eagles that fly by here. So I'm just waiting to see if I can get them. Okay, there's one. There they are, two eagles. One's chasing the other. The younger one's chasing the older one. Well, today I thought we would take a look at some bones. And I brought along some bones from school. Most of the animal bones from school were found outside. And you might think if you find a skeleton outside, it's going to be gross. But it could be, but a lot of times they've been around long enough that all the decomposers and insects and scavengers have cleaned off all the flesh and skin. And if they've been out in the sun, they'll even be very bleached and white. So they can be quite clean when you find them outside. You might just need a little rinsing off to get some of the soil off of them. So this is a deer skull. This is the immovable joint of this cranium, and you can see that it zigzags back and forth, and that kind of locks the bones into place. But the interesting thing is these bones have teeth marks from probably mice and squirrels that have been chewing on these bones because they have teeth that keep growing and they need to gnaw on hard things. Plus, that gives them a good source of calcium. This is the longest bone in the human body. It's a femur, and this is from the arm. This is the humerus. Both of these you can easily tell because they have a ball on one end of them. This one has a little narrowing spot. That's a femur, and the one that does not is the humerus in the upper arm. These fit into sockets. Humerus, the shoulder blade, is the socket that would fit in there. Just like we have two bones in our forearm, the radius and the ulna, so does a cow. Here's the ulna, the elbow, and this is called the radius. Fits in just like that into the humerus, so the cow can bend at that joint. Those are the three bones of the arm I want you to know. Humerus, ulna's the elbow, and the radius. So I have a friend. His name is Dr. Jordan Pressman, and he's a veterinarian. He's going to take us inside his clinic and tell us a little bit about animal anatomy.
Hi, my name is Dr. Jordan Pressman, and I'm a small animal veterinarian. When comparing body systems with humans and animals, although we may look different, anatomically we're very similar. Let's start with the skeletal system.
This is the forelimb of a dog. Notice how we have a humerus, a radius, and an ulna, all bones that humans have as well. This is the forelimb of a cat. We have a humerus, a radius, and an ulna. Notice how the humerus is more straight in a cat than in a dog. Do you know what this is a forelimb of? This is the forelimb, or a wing, of a bird. We still have a humerus, radius, and ulna as well. This cat's name is Sassy. She was brought into the hospital by the police when they found her limping on her back right leg. When we were unable to find her owner, we decided to x-ray her leg to see what the problem was. Here you can see that Sassy had fractured her tibia as well as the fibula. We decided to place a metal pin in the tibia to help allow the bones to connect and grow together. Unfortunately, due to the location of the fracture, Sassy will have a limp for the rest of her life. But she now lives in the hospital, and as you can see, she is still able to get around, get treats, and she is actually able to jump up as well.
Joining me via Zoom is Dr. Pressman. Is it true that when you graduated, you were the youngest veterinarian in the world?
Well, I feel pretty confident. I tried to contact the Guinness Book of World Records, and they got back to me, but it wasn't something they could truly identify. But in Minnesota, I was the youngest veterinarian in Minnesota. As far as the U.S., I feel pretty comfortable that I likely was as well. I graduated and I was fully licensed in Minnesota when I was 23 and a half, I guess. So typically there's an undergraduate program you have to complete. Then the veterinary program to be a doctor of veterinary medicine is typically 4 years.
You mentioned that animals are similar in lots of ways. So you didn't have to learn different anatomy for every single animal that you treat. Is that correct?
That is correct. Correct. And fortunately, a lot of the anatomy is relatively similar. We just try to focus on some of the variations when you get into multiple species. But thankfully, since anatomy is relatively similar from species to species, it doesn't make it too difficult.
All right. Well, thank you.
You're very welcome.
Well, thanks for watching, and join me next week when we find more cool stuff to do outside and have part 2 with Dr. Jordan Pressman, veterinarian. So long.